I'm so glad you're here. Today we're going to do a little painting of some wild roses. Very, very popular around Newfoundland and this time of year, which is sort of mid-July. I love that you can go for a walk and you can smell these beautiful, beautiful roses everywhere you go. Very, very pretty. So this is what we're going to paint today. And this is our sketch. And if you want to pause the video and take a little sketch from there, you absolutely can. If you would prefer to pick up one of my art kits, the links are below in the description. And your art kit comes with everything you could possibly need to do this entire piece. So, reference photo so that you know what you're looking at. There's your sketch there on the inside. There's also a brush, palette, your colors, your instructions, a test sheet, the works. And you can pick them up on my website or in my eBay store. Either one is grand. So let's have a seat now and we'll get started. So I'll make a note of the colors that we're going to use today. This one is fairly basic. It's only got 3 colors, which makes life a little bit easier when you're trying to pick out which ones. In the note, I'll make sure to tell you what brand and everything that I'm using, but please feel free to use whatever brand you prefer. I'm using Permanent Rose, Hooker's Green Light, and Cadmium Yellow. So pink, yellow, and green. Oh, it's so rough. So we're going to start by adding a little bit of water to our palette and putting a little pink in there so that we make a very, very soft pink shade, very delicate, because the petals, of course, are nice and delicate. So it's going to look real pale like this. So more water than pigment. This one here. Okay. And once you have that all mixed up, you're going to put a little bit of water. You're going to work one petal at a time, and you're going to wet that petal first. So we'll start with this lovely big one here in the back. And we'll put some nice clean water right over the top. And if you've picked up the kit and you're looking at the gray outline and you're going, is that going to go away? Yeah, it will. I promise it'll disappear as you're painting. You won't even notice it when you're done. So then once you've got that nice and wet, you're going to get your pale pink mixture. And you're going to go all the way around the outsides of that petal and let the water do the work for you. And then give your brush a rinse and get a little of that yellow on there. And you're going to touch that yellow down where the center of the flower is and let it bloom out into your pink. And if you find it's moving a little bit faster than your pink, you can always add a bit more pink and let it mix around in there. And it'll blend out lovely. So we're going to do basically the same process on each of the petals. And you want to do them sort of by skipping one so that you're not doing the one right next door. Because if you're doing the one right next door, chances are they're going to bleed. So we'll wet this bottom one down here. Clean water. And you're going to leave out that little curl at the bottom because that's going to be something that comes in afterwards. And then grab some of our pale pink mix and go around the outside edges of our petal and let that water do the work for us. And give your brush a rinse and grab a little bit of that yellow. And again, starting at the center of your flower, put a little in there and let it bloom right out into that pink. It's getting a little bit dry in there, so I'm going to add a little bit more of my pink to get it a little bit more wet. Let it blossom a little bit. But it makes for such a nice delicate mix when you do the two of them. Here we go. And while those ones are drying, before we do the ones that are next to them, we can do a couple of the petals on the top as well. So we'll start with this one in the back, and we'll put some nice clean water all over that petal and down into the center, and then get some of our nice pale pink and go around the outside. There we go. And then a little bit of our yellow, and just touch the bottom. Oh, you can see that blossom real nice. I like that. There we go. I'm gonna let that one dry. And then this guy here, we don't really see the inside because he's kind of folded up in front of the flower. So we're going to make him just a little bit darker by not wetting the petal first. You're just going to grab that pale pink mix and go around and do a little wet on dry all over that shape. So he won't be very diluted when he when he dries. So that would be nice. And again, you want to avoid these little curls here because they're going to look a little different as well. There we go. And we'll let this guy dry too. Now, we're going to let those dry and then we'll come back and fill in some more of the others. Okay, so now that those petals are dry, we're going to fill in the other ones basically the same way that we did the first ones. So down here we're going to wet these bigger ones with some clean water. Sorry, my voice is going a little bit today. I'm going to blame that on not enough coffee. And then we're going to get our nice pale pink mix minus the cat hair and go around the outside of the edge, again leaving that little curl. We're going to do that after. So a nice pale pink mix. There we go. Give our brush a rinse and then come back in with our yellow and touch it in the middle of our flower and let it blossom out a little into the pink. And again, if you want to make that a little bit darker on the edges, you can always add a bit more pink. There we go. And then we'll do this one on the other side, same way. Some clean water on our petal, all the way into the center. And again, avoid that little curl. And then add our pale pink mix. I love how full these roses can be. They can be simple petals or they can fill right out with multiple petals, and they're so pretty. They make lovely potpourri because it smells so good. And our yellow in the center, and let that run a little bit. There we go. And that dried a little bit too hard over there on that one, so I'm going to rinse my brush, tap it off on my paper towel, and where it's a little damp, just to get some of that hard edge. So it's a little softer looking. There we go. Okay. And while that one dries, before we do this one, we'll do some of these guys up here. So a little bit of water on there. And then our pale pink mix. Go around the edges. And you're not going to see a whole lot of the yellow on this one, but just enough that you want to touch it just a little bit. Right there. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more pink to the underside, backside of that one. Yeah. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Put a little bit of water on there. And our pale pink. And then yellow. Now let's see if this guy's dry enough to. Kinda, not kinda. Okay, so while we let that dry, and I'll ponder it a little bit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the main body of these rose hips over here. And they're usually quite dark. So we're going to go straight off our pink, our permanent rose, and wet on dry. Come around with that nice deep, deep, deep rose color. And fill in that whole little oval. Rinse your brush off. Tap it on your paper towel a little, and then we're going to pull a little bit of a highlight. Pardon me. Just there on the front. There we go. Right about there. And that gives it a little bit of dimension. So again, we're going to do the same thing with our other rose hip. Come all the way around the oval. That lovely rich rose coming out of it. So pretty. And then we're going to rinse our brush, tap it off in the paper towel a little, and again, nice little highlight right under here. Just one more time, just make sure it kind of comes up together. There we go. Now, that gave us perfect amount of time to be able to do this petal in here. I swear I planned that out perfectly all on my own. So a little bit of water on this petal. I didn't, by the way. And a light pink mix. All the way around the outside. And then a little bit of our yellow on the center. Oh, that was a nice big one. I like that one. And let that dry like that. And I think, yeah, this one's probably dry enough. Because we're going to do wet on dry with that one, because you won't really see much of the yellow, and you want it to be just a little bit different from the one next to it. So, a little wet on dry, and you can kind of see the edge of it there in the front. And I'm actually going to rinse my brush and pull a little bit of a highlight across the top, just to make it stand out from the one behind it a little bit. A little bit of dimension. Yeah, pretty. Okay, and we'll let all of these dry. Okay, so now that all our petals are nice and dry, and our rose hips are dry too, we're going to add a little bit more pink to our pale pink mix and darken that up just a little bit. So, get some of our color and add it in there so that it's, let's see, yeah, a little bit darker like that. Lovely. Okay. And we're going to do some nice little details with that slightly middle ground shade. So we'll use that on these little curls that are right here. Needs to be just a little bit darker, I think. A little bit more color in there. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's better. There we go. Just touch that in there. Put it across. I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow in here as well. Because it's in behind that other petal. So I've added a little bit along the edge, rinsed off my brush, and then I'm going to just blend it a little bit so that it's not a stark highlight, just subtle. I'm going to put a little bit on this one too for the same purpose. And rinse and tap it, and then just blend it out a little bit at the top there. Yeah, I think that'll be nice. And then this one has a little bit of a shadow right there. little bit on the other side as well. Not sure why I'm going down to a whisper, probably because I'm doing something tiny. It's like that voice you get when you see a cute cat or dog and you're like, oh, and your voice kind of comes up out of nowhere. It's great fun. Okay. So I think that's good for our little highlight. Oh no, maybe one more. Shadow, sorry, not highlight. There we go. Lovely. Lovely, turn them off. Okay, so then we're going to do the ones on the larger petals as well now. So let me get some of that darker shade. Darker value. Just go along our little curls at the top. And this little right here. And by painting them separately and letting it dry in between, it actually creates its own natural little separation. As those edges dry, it makes like a little crisp edge. And it gives you a little bit of delicacy or delicateness to the curls on your petals. It's pretty. There we go. And a little bit of a shadow in here. And blend that out a little bit. Not too crazy dark in comparison. Same with this side. And the links on the top. And a little bit of a blend. There we go, pretty. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit right there. Go. Let's see. A little bit right there. And blend that out. And a little bit right there. Okay. Now, while those little curls dry, we're going to put a little bit of water in the very center of this rose and add a little bit of our yellow in there and let that bloom around. Rather loosely. There we go. And with your brush, get some really nice dark yellow off your cake there. And a couple little details. Centers in those roses. And then you can add over the pink a little bit. And when this one dries, we'll do the same thing, but I think that'll look really pretty. Pretty! Okay, so we're going to take some of that medium shade of pink. Put that on our brush, and we're going to do this little rosebud up here. So, medium shade, you're going to fill that little center with the slightly darker shade. And look at that, real good. Okay. And then get some of your darkest pink color, your rose color, and just go along the edges to make it blend in a little bit. There we go. And let that naturally blend into the layer you have underneath. There we go. And just peeking out underneath those. I think they're sepals. I think that's what they're called, sepals. Awesome. Okay, so as this one is drying, we're going to add a little bit of softness to our main rose petals. So I'm actually gonna wet that color again because it's starting to dry out a little bit because it's a lovely summer day. And I'm gonna get some of my, I'm gonna put a little bit of water on some of these petals, just a little. now that they're completely dry, and get some of that nice dark rose color and come along and let it green out underneath. And just bring that all the way down into clean water. Now you don't have to do this step if you don't want to. I like the fact that it adds a little bit of delicate touch to the petals. There we go. And I'm actually going to pull that up a little bit with a highlight, so that it adds, it looks like it's got a little curve to it. So same sort of thing on this one, just a little bit of water. And really cool on that side. And maybe there. And I'll come back in with my water. And pull that down a little bit so it blends it out. There we go. Adds a bit of dimension to these petals as well, which they're naturally kind of flat anyway, but I like having that little extra little spot. Cool. And blend that out with a clean. Let's pull a little up. There we go. Nice. And this one's relatively flat, but it does have a little bit of an edge at the bottom there, so I'm going to see if I can tune it up a little bit. So I have a little bit along there, and right there where that little fold is. Okay, right in our cream water, and blend that out a little bit. There we go. Yeah. Just a little bit extra right there. Just adds a little bit of interest. I like that. Yeah. And I'm going to take some of my nice dark rose color and come along on these curls and darken them up a little. They weren't quite as dark as I'd like them to be. I'm adding another layer. Another wash. Add a little bit there on the top. Not too much, just a little bit. There we go. And same with the little one up top. And these a little bit darker. Just a little. Makes them stand out a little bit. And where that little blossom is further away, you won't see the curls as much as you would on the bottom one. But I'm still going to add just a little bit of dimension to the ones that you can see. So, a little bit of water over this guy, and he'd naturally be darker around the bottom. So I'm going to get some of my permanent rose and just touch around the bottom like this, and a bit of a U, and then maybe right there, and right there. There. And blend that in a little bit with our clean and damp brush. It gives it a little bit of dimension and blossom out. Lovely. Okay. Looks nice. Okay, so we'll let those dry. Then we'll add the centers in our big blossom, and we'll start in on our stems and leaves. pretty sure all of this is nice and dry. Lovely. All right, so we're going to get some of our yellow on there and just add some little dots for the centers of our big rose. You can have them come right out under the pink. Give them kind of a fluffy look in the center. There we go. And they don't have to be perfect. Have a little bit of fun. And remember to be very kind with yourself. That is most important. There we go. Very good. And now we can start on our leaves and stems. And I think what we're going to do is actually start with this little rosebud up top here. So we're going to take our green and we're going to fill it in and get a highlight, but just to be ahead of the game a little bit, I'm going to show you how, if you're doing your leaves and you want it to give it sort of a natural little edge, you're going to fill it in with that nice green and then add a little bit of your yellow as a little touch on the edge. And it blends in a little bit and pushes that green around and gives you this sort of real sweet edge. I like that. Okay, so for our little rosebud up here, we're going to load our brush up with our green, and we're going to do this front right here. And the brush that comes with your kit has a nice fine point on it, so this will be easier. I'm going to add a little bit of extra color around the edges and the tip, just to let it blend a little on its own. And if you want to pull a highlight in there, you absolutely can. Just dry your brush off in your paper towel a little and you can kind of go on the side like that. And if you want to make it a little bit darker again, you just go back in with a little bit more color. Adds a little bit of interest. Quite nice. And then we're going to go on this other side, just like this one. Lovely purple green against the permanent rose. A very pretty combo. There we go. And set the top down here. I'm going to let that dry before we do the other little pieces. And we're going to do some broader leaves around this smaller blossom. So, turn this again. We'll fill this guy in with our green. Then I'm going to rinse my brush and get a little bit of that yellow on there. I'm just going to touch some of the tips and add a little bit of dimension to them. And a little bit on the leaf there. And then as that dries, it'll create a nice little variation. And then we'll do these ones on this side in a similar sort of way. We'll fill them in with our green first. And if you go over the edges, don't worry about it. Not a biggie. If you go inside the edges and you can still see them a little, don't worry about it. Not a biggie. You go at your own pace. If you need to pause at any time, go for it. You're always watching that. It's okay. Make it a little bit darker down here towards the bottom. It's blocked by a little bit of the blossom, and then I'm going to rinse my brush, tap it off, and just pull a little bit of a highlight in the top there. Again, just to add a little variety, and maybe just a little bit of yellow on these tips right here. There we go. deep underneath that one. We'll get some of our and I know I've said before that if you go right next to each other, they're going to bleed, and they will. But sometimes that looks kind of cool. So I'm going to dare myself to touch that leaf next to this one. And if it bleeds, it bleeds. If it doesn't, yeah, that's cool too. But this little guy's going to be darker underneath because he's behind everybody else. There we go. Maybe we just have a little bit of a highlight. There. Okay, so there's our leaves around our smaller blossom. And these are dry enough now I can come back in and add in those tinier ones. So, a nice dark green. There we go, pretty. Okay. Now I think we'll work our way down the page and we'll do these lovely leaves here. So we'll start by filling this guy with our green. Not real nice. There we go. And we'll take some of our yellow. That's going to be pretty. Ooh. Okay. And I'm not as daring with this guy to be able to do the one right next door, so we'll wait on that one. We'll move around to this guy over here. He's got lots of nice color. And tap my brush off. And add a little bit extra green there along the edge. And this guy I'm going to take a highlight off the top. Just on that high side of that leaf. There we go. And with the tip of my brush, I'm going to pull that stem out and let that bleed into that guy too. Yeah, okay. And then this one, again, same sort of process. And I'm varying which ones that I touch with the yellow and which ones that I pull a highlight and which ones I just leave, just to give it a little variety. It adds a bit of interest then and adds a bit of dimension to it, which I like. But you don't have to follow this exactly. You use your intuition and go for it. That's the fun part about being the artist. You get to decide what you like and what goes into your work. It's not about being perfect, it's about enjoying yourself, being creative. And some of my nice dark green. Oh, little guy. Yeah. Okay. And round we go. And do this little guy. This little guy I think is going to have a bit more. Just to get him to stand out just a little tiny bit. There we go. And again, a little bit of dark green. Yeah. And I think we can do a little bit. So that was a little bit. Yeah. Okay. And again, I'm going to skip this one next to him because I'm a little nervous. I'm going to do this little guy in behind. I really hope you guys are enjoying these tutorials. I sure have a lot of fun sharing them with you. If you are enjoying them, I really hope you'll consider liking, leaving me a comment, subscribing to my channel. Helps a gal on the East Coast out very, very much. And makes her extremely grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for coming to paint with me. Add a little bit of yellow to this one. And a little bit of dark and green. And on the right edge. Okay. And then we'll come back up to these guys because they look to be almost dry enough. Almost dry. And we're down on green first. Like so. There we go. And pull a bit of a dark green. Oops, it's a little bit too kinky. Soften it a little bit longer. There we go. And get that green a little bit. There we go. And then some nice dark green. Yeah, okay. And this little dude here in the center, dude. And coming around the edge. I'm going to make him a little bit darker because he's in behind. Yeah, a little bit extra there. Dark green. brushed it a little bit extra on the top and the bottom. Give it a little bit of dimension so it's lighter in the middle. Okay, a couple more leaves and then we're all done. Leaves and our stems and our rose hips. Yay! Okay, so again, we're going to fill this guy with green. Give it a little dimension. Let it spread around a little bit. Have a little fun. And put a little bit of yellow on this guy. Let that push around a little bit. There we go. And our last little leaf guy. Or dude, I don't know why I'm going to do. Probably hear the wind blowing a little bit in the background. It's often windy in Newfoundland, but it's kind of a nice breeze. We like it. I'll take it along with the sunshine. And a little bit of dark green along the edge. Like this one. There we go. This one I think I'm going to give a little bit of a highlight on this side. Yeah. Lovely. Okay, so last but not least, we're going to put our stems for our rose hips. Nice dark green right up to the bottom there. And again, a little extra at the bottom, a little extra at the top. Gives you that little piece of dimension. It's just touching a little bit extra like that. There we go. Nice. Now for these little pieces that kind of come out from the top, they're a little bit dried up and you want them to look a little bit so what we're going to do is we want it to be a little bit of a sort of crispy brown. We're going to put some of our green and our pink together because they're almost opposites on the color wheel. So if we add them together, they're going to give us this sort of muted color. And I want it to be a little bit on the sort of gray-green side. So let's see if I can mix this up properly. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. And that's about a 50-50 mix of both colors. So with my brush and a little bit of that on there, I'm going to pull these little dried pieces. Just to top them off a little bit. And I'm going to touch it a little bit extra on the center part to give it a little bit of dimension and closest to the main part of the vase. Okay. Now then, I'm going to let that dry and see if we need anything else to go on there, but I think it might be all pretty close to done. Awesome. All right, we'll let that dry. Now that everything is really nice and dry, I think I am going to add a little bit of extra dimension to those leaves a little bit. Just to, you know, pick at it a little because I'll do that too. So I'm going to get my tiny brush and a little bit of my dark green. And coming on those stems and pull that right down onto the leaf. So you can see that little bit of a line on the end. And I like that little bit of dimension in there. It just adds a little something extra. You don't have to if you don't want to. If you like yours the way they are, go for it. This is just me being, I'm going to pick out it a bit more. There. That little bit of extra detail. Put that little bit of an edge on that guy because he's disappearing into the background a little bit. And one side of these rose extends. This goes. Okay. And I gotta know when to stop picking it. So this is our finished wild rose. I hope you've enjoyed painting with me today. I'm really, really happy that you came to paint with me. Thank you so much. Please consider liking my videos, subscribing to my channel, and leaving me a comment. It's all good. Thank you so much. Have a great day and see you next week.